שלך, נתי כץ, מצטרף אליך לרעיון אלן אזולאי, מנכ"ל ומייסד AZ Financial Group. אנחנו איתכם.
כן, תודה רבה מור, באמת כיף להיות פה כאן עם אלן אזולאי, AZ Corp וגם AZ Financial Group, חלק מהזרוע הפיננסית שלו. אמנם הוא מבין עברית, אבל אנחנו נקיים גם את הרעיון הזה באנגלית. Alan, thank you so much for joining me
Pleasure
today.
to be here. Thank you so much.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
A lot going on, and you know, I know that your background is so kind of interesting and eclectic. In a nutshell, how did you get into the financial kind of industry?
Sure. So my original background is actually in education. I attended Yeshiva University, where I got my master's degree in education. But in the meantime, at the time, I was raising capital for publications for the books that I've written, for events in U.S. Congress, or whatever it may be, for charities. Someone came up to me once and said, hey, you're raising money for these nonprofits. Why don't you raise it for real estate ventures? So that's where it started, and that was approximately around 12 years ago. I'm still in the world of education, but not as a career.
Right, very nice. And we'll translate. מה שלא ציינתי באמת שהרקע שלו הוא בחינוך. אגב, אנחנו ניגע בזה עוד מעט, הוא משתמש בזה בשביל לחנך את הדור הצעיר בכל מה שקשור לפיננסים, כניסה לשווקים, להשקעות, אבל הוא התחיל כבר לפני 12 שנה, הוא עזר גם בוושינגטון DC, if I'm not mistaken, לסנטורים גם מהימים שלו בישיבה אוניברסיטי, והוא בעצם התחיל מהצד הפילנתרופי. הוא גם היום כבר יש לו מספר ארגונים שהוא מנהל אותם, הוא טוב מאוד אם אני לא טועה בגיוס כספים, כתב לא פחות מ9 ספרים.
Approximately 8 books.
שהוא רשם, אז הוא ככה נכנס לתחום הזה. Today you help investors really find or identify opportunities. You help manage their money. You're going into it deeper and deeper.
Correct.
What are investors looking for today? Where do opportunities lie from what you're hearing from them?
So it depends on the markets, depends on what type of criteria. I originally started in Canada in particular, towards construction, financing, first mortgages, second mortgages. As time progressed, I wanted to get myself into equity investments, not just rather just getting, let's say, a commission or a straight yield. It really depends on the markets. Every investment's different, whether it's a business loan returns or whether it's real estate returns. So it all really depends. And the investors tend to, I guess, have a different feeling every single time, literally depending on the markets, wars, and their emotional state. So that's literally how I assess it. So I go within their mood every single time, and then I advise them accordingly. And as time is progressing, I'm entering into the world of wealth management and investing their funds into the indexes and so on. And that's where I'm heading within a partner of mine in Cedarhurst, New Jersey. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you approach the nonprofit world in a similar way.
Correct.
Tell us more a little bit about that, because there is that stereotype, right? That nonprofits like mismanage their own funds, and you do it in a whole different approach.
So nonprofits really have to be run like a business. I believe synagogues, everything has to be run like literally like a business. It's essentially cash flows. They need that monthly recurring cash flow, just like an investor, let's say, would invest $100,000 at 10% and get his monthly return. Nonprofits essentially need money, interest monthly, I guess calculated every single month, and it's the cash flows that will really secure a nonprofit. So I really sort of replicated the idea of a nonprofit similar to I guess the world of finance. It's cash flows which is essential. Instead of a person giving a $1,000 check at one shot, divided by 12, and to create that monthly cash flows for the nonprofit. So they really have to run. Nonprofits have to run more like businesses today, and that's what I think what lacks.
And you've expanded the scope yourself, because you started, I think, if I'm not mistaken, traditionally with the Sephardi community.
Correct.
And really broadened the scope. And today you run nonprofit organizations for a variety of activities.
Correct.
We have Pesach coming up.
Correct.
I'm sure it's busy.
We're giving a lot of money in my organization based in Toronto. We're giving a significant amount. Some families in New York as well. And we distribute $300,000 to $400,000 a year. It's not so much money, but it's still something significant towards families that need. Exactly.
So I have to ask you, with all that exposure and activity, what is your sentiment towards where we are with the markets? Could be, the real estate in the U.S. or just the equity markets.
I think the equity markets all dependent, of course, on Donald Trump, on the president. So today he put a halt towards what's going on in the war. And I think if they continue this war, which has its pros and cons, of course, it will certainly affect the economy. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of time of when and how. But it's truly a matter on the markets and ultimately the president.
And I couldn't help, Mo, לפני שאנחנו מחזירים לכם את השידור, your stock picks from all this crazy market?
I think it's all AI. Not all AI, but officially I believe it's NVIDIA, Amazon, Google, Tesla, but specifically NVIDIA. I find NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, a fascinating individual. I believe he has 6,000 families in Israel that work under him. I think that's the number. And not only just because he's pro-Israel, aside from that, his way of data centers building and AI approach is very refreshing. And I think NVIDIA, Amazon, which we're used to getting the packages at home, and Elon Musk, what he's doing with Tesla, I think, and Google in particular. Even Elon Musk endorsed Google in terms of how they are running their AI infrastructure. So that's, I would say, the 4 main stock picks that I would be focused on.
Unbelievable. And that's the stock picks from a person who's engaged both in nonprofit,
real estate.
You take it all together.
Slowly.
נגיד רק במילה אחת, כזה גיוון של פעילויות פיננסיות בפורטפוליו של אלן, ובאמת לקבל ממנו כזה ראייה, גם בנושא השווקים באופן כללי, גם בנושא המניות. Alan, thank you so much for joining us. Really good luck to you, both in the philanthropy as well in the book writing. I know you're not done.
No.
So amazing. And חג שמח.
Thank you, חג שמח.
חזרה אליכם, אור.
Thank you, חג שמח.
תודה רבה, נתי, ובאופן כללי, שיהיה לך אחר הצהריים נעים. תודה על הרעיונות האלה.